Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I bring you another heart-pounding development in the dramatic story of love and dark conspiracies surrounding CEO James and LyTuDiep. In the previous episode, we witnessed a major turning point. Trang, who had been forced by her father and John to act as an undercover agent to harm James and Dipe, finally listened to the voice of her conscience. In a decisive moment between betrayal and righteousness, she chose to do the right thing. Even though she knew her actions could put her in danger, Trang still decided to stand on the side of the light, on the side of James and Dipe. She secretly arranged to meet James at the lumber warehouse, under the pretense of inspecting an outgoing shipment. But hidden behind this seemingly casual reminder was a quiet warning. Be careful. Something very dangerous is coming. She gave James a look more serious than ever before and told him, "Don't let Dipe leave the house. Protect her at all costs." However, things did not go as smoothly as Trang had hoped. Her father, ruthless by nature and fiercely loyal to John, sensed the change in his daughter's gaze. And when he learned that she had secretly contacted James, he erupted in fury. No longer hiding anything, he immediately informed John. From that moment, the wheels of a cruel conspiracy began turning faster than ever. John, who had been lurking in the shadows waiting for the right time, had run out of patience. He decided to make his move. A group of strangers was sent out with a clear objective: capture Dipe before she had a chance to escape. A brutal chase between the forces of justice and darkness was about to begin. But James did not remain passive. With the instincts of an experienced man and a deep determination to protect the woman he loves, he had already coordinated with the Special Task Force. A covert operation was launched, and every trace of John and his accomplices gradually came to light under the law. Will James arrive in time to save Dipe? How will Trang face the fact that her own father has now become the enemy? And John, the puppet master behind it all, will he be able to escape justice? Join us in today's video to witness every thrilling detail, where love, betrayal, and courage collide on the edge of life and death. Don't forget to leave a comment, share your thoughts, and say a prayer for James and Dipe's safety. After discovering the truth that Trang had betrayed him to secretly side with James, Mr. Henry, her typically cold and strict father, was consumed by rage. Without taking time to think or understand, he immediately summoned Trang home. His eyes blazed with fury, and his voice thundered like a storm. "You dare betray your own father? You're not worthy to be my daughter." Those words pierced Trang's heart like a knife. But this time, she didn't cry. She didn't lower her head. She stood tall, eyes filled with sorrow but unwavering resolve, and looked straight into her father's eyes. "Father, you once taught me to live with integrity, to be a decent person, and never to commit evil. But now you're asking me to betray my conscience for an old grudge. I can't do that. I no longer want to live as a shadow of hatred." Mr. Hung trembled with anger. He refused to listen. He could not accept that his daughter had turned away from the path he had chosen. He roared in despair, as if Trang's defiance had touched a long unhealed wound buried deep in his past. "What do you know about the pain I've endured? About your grandfather's death? About the humiliation I've carried all these years? By siding with the enemy, you've destroyed the last of my trust, Trang." Yet Trang didn't back down. She calmly replied, "Father, you, me, James, and Dipe were all victims. The one who deserves punishment is John. If you keep helping him, one day even you won't be able to turn back." But her words only fueled her father's fury. In a fit of rage, he not only lashed out with cruel accusations, but also ordered his men to lock Trang in a sealed room, once an old storage shed, to prevent her from ruining the revenge plan he had nurtured for so many years. He looked into her disappointed eyes, but his heart didn't soften. Hatred had clouded his mind for far too long. Elsewhere, John, the mastermind behind all the wicked schemes, had just received word that Trang had turned against him. His face darkened and rage erupted like a fire, consuming his last shred of patience. "That girl dares to betray me?" he growled, slamming his fist onto the table. "Fine, then there's no more waiting." That very night, John ordered the plan to accelerate. He wanted to strike James before Trang could escape, and the police could intervene. He wasn't about to let anyone ruin his final move. The battle is drawing near. On one side, those driven by deceit and vengeance. On the other, those rising with love, conscience, and courage. As for James, after receiving Trang's veiled warning, he sprang into action without hesitation. There was no time to waste. He immediately contacted the special task force with whom he had been secretly coordinating for some time. James knew that if what Trang said was true, then Dipe was in grave danger, not only because of her personal safety, but because she was the one link that pushed John to the brink of losing control. That very night, the undercover police units were dispatched in multiple directions. Their investigation zeroed in on suspicious activities within John's business operations, from illegal logging to irregular financial flows tied to untraceable accounts. Then, a sudden breakthrough occurred. At an abandoned house on the outskirts of town previously dismissed as unrelated, police raided the location and caught several of John's henchmen using illegal drugs. But that was not all. Inside, they discovered a large stash of documents, ledgers, and even a concealed map showing illegal timber warehouses and secret transportation routes. Faced with irrefutable evidence, the arrested men began to crack under pressure. Panic set in, and they started confessing in hopes of a lighter sentence. During the interrogation, one of them uttered a sentence that left the entire room in stunned silence. "Boss John is about to act. He plans to kidnap the girl named Dipe to force James into handing over the company. And the money. He said he'll get it no matter what." That revelation hit like a bombshell. An emergency meeting was convened immediately. Based on the confessions and physical evidence, a special protection order for James and Dipe was issued. At the same time, a warrant for John's urgent arrest was signed that very night. A full-scale manhunt was launched. Major roads were blocked, surveillance footage reviewed, and every potential hideout John could use was placed under close watch. Despite his growing anxiety, James remained composed. He quickly arranged a safe location for Dipe and worked closely with the police at every step. He knew that even a single misstep could cost not only Dipe's life, but also his career, his honor, and the safety of countless innocent people. Even though James had prepared in advance, he was still one step behind John. After realizing that his plan was about to be exposed, John decided to strike first. No longer hiding or hesitating, this time he wanted to end everything for good. He ordered his most trusted men to go straight to the house of Dipe's aunt and uncle, where she was temporarily staying. Without any subtlety, the thugs stormed into the yard, shouting and threatening her aunt. "Old woman, hand over that girl Dipe. If not, don't blame us for being cruel." Terrified but trying to remain calm, the aunt denied their demands, claiming that Dipe wasn't home. But when she tried to go inside to call for help, one of the men grabbed her arm, shoved her to the ground, and continued threatening her. Just then, Dipe returned from the forest, still holding a basket of freshly picked medicinal leaves. As she saw the chaotic scene, her aunt being threatened, the house in disarray, and the presence of unfamiliar men, she instantly understood that something was terribly wrong. Their eyes lit up the moment they saw her. "There she is! Grab her!" one of them shouted. Without hesitation, Dipe dropped the basket and took off running toward the forest behind the house. Thanks to her many times foraging in the woods with her aunt, she knew every trail, every tree route, every hidden path. Her legs, driven by pure survival instinct, carried her swiftly through thick bushes, steep slopes, and narrow creeks. But fate wasn't going to let her off so easily. While leaping over a large tree trunk, she slipped and fell hard on a slick slope. Pain shot through her ankle. She tried to stand but could only limp forward with difficulty. The sound of footsteps closing in grew louder, and the rustling of dry leaves behind her sent chills down her spine. Meanwhile, James was also under attack. John's men had ambushed him as well. But they underestimated him. James, who had undergone physical and survival training in Europe, was not someone who could be easily overpowered. With agile movements and sharp reflexes, he not only defended himself but even managed to take down several of them. Just as the fight raged on, police forces arrived in time. They quickly subdued and arrested the attackers. Some of the more aggressive ones were handcuffed on the spot, while the rest scattered in panic. James didn't waste a second. As soon as he heard the aunt gasp, "Dipe!" she ran into the forest. "They're chasing her." His heart sank in fear. He had arrived too late, and now there was only one thing he could do: chase after them and save Dipe, no matter the cost. He dashed into the forest like an arrow cutting through the wind. Night was falling, and the dense trees made visibility nearly impossible. But James didn't care. He called out her name, running and listening intently to every sound, every rustle in the dark. "Dipe, where are you? Answer me," he shouted hoarsely into the wind. Ahead, the sound of footsteps, shouting voices, and chaos echoed through the misty forest. The scene had become a life-or-death chase, breathless and intense. Everything was building toward a climax where in just 1 second, everything could change forever. So, ... will James make it in time to save Dipe before everything spirals out of control? Can he push through the dense forest, follow her trail in the darkness, and find the woman he loves now all alone, surrounded by danger? And what about John, the mastermind behind all these dark conspiracies? Will he succeed in his final plan to kidnap Dipe and force James to surrender his entire empire? Or will he finally pay the price for everything he's done? As the police forces move quickly to close in, tightening the net step by step, will we witness the downfall of a criminal empire? Or will John once again pull off a cunning and relentless escape? And Trang, the brave girl who dared to defy her own father to stand up for the truth, will she find a way to escape her confinement, speak out, and help prevent the looming tragedy? On one side, conspiracy. On the other, courage. One side, darkness. The other, light. All are about to collide in a relentless showdown. Stay tuned for the next episode. Will Dipe be rescued in time? Will James overcome the greatest challenge of his life? Will justice prevail? And will the evil finally bow before the law? Don't forget to leave a comment below, share your thoughts, and pray for James and Dipe to come out of this storm safely. And if you've been moved by this emotional journey, remember to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss a single heartbeat of the next thrilling episode.
Xin chào tất cả mọi người ơi, cảm ơn mọi người vì đã tiếp tục theo dõi kênh của mình nha. Và video hôm nay thì đang tiếp nối vào câu chuyện Diep và Lý Tử Diệp. Và nếu như mọi người yêu quý kênh cũng như là muốn theo dõi những tập hay về Diep và Lý Tử Diệp thì mọi người nhớ là hãy đăng ký kênh, sau đó bật chuông thông báo lên để không bỏ lỡ bất kỳ tập nào mới ra nhất của kênh nha mọi người. Và nếu như mọi người yêu quý kênh mình thì mọi người hãy ủng hộ cho kênh mình nhiều hơn, vì đó sẽ là động lực rất lớn để mình ra video hay và nhiều hơn để mọi người cùng đón xem. Và nếu như mọi ý kiến đóng góp cũng như là để động viên cho Diep và Diệp vượt qua khó khăn hiện tại thì mọi người có thể để ở phần bình luận giúp mình nha. Và mong rằng mọi người sẽ đóng góp ý kiến để cho kênh mình càng ngày càng trở nên hoàn thiện hơn, cũng giống như là cổ vũ cho tình yêu của Diep và Diệp ngày càng thuận lợi hơn. Và xin chúc mọi người một ngày thật vui vẻ và hạnh phúc. Chào tạm biệt mọi người, hẹn gặp lại mọi người trong những video tiếp theo nhé.